Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thank you for joining me today as we continue to explore the character of God together. I want to share today about God the Restorer. Do you know God's in the restoration business? A few years ago, there was a number of shows on TV, Learning Channel or one of those. People restoring old cars, people restoring furniture, restorers, those who would take something old and broken and of little value and restore it to like new or even better than new condition and creating something worth great value. Well, in Psalm 23, he restores my soul. God does inner restoration work at the very heart of who I am. You know, if I'm going to buy an old boat and plan to go sailing on her, and the engine's no good in it, there's not much sense of fixing up the outside, slapping on a coat of paint and, make her look better if the engine's not in good shape. I want someone who can restore the engine to perfect working order. Then, even if the outside's a little scruffy looking, I'll get where I need to go. She'll be safe to go. God's a restorer of our soul. He restores us at the very core of who we are. The very part of us that determines how we live, determines our values. That's just determines our desires and affects our words and ways and works. He restores us at the core of who we are. Then in Revelation, there's that wonderful verse when Jesus claims, I will make all things new. He'll restore them. He didn't say he'll make new things. He said he'd make what is new to be restored, renewed. He renews our strength. God is a restorer. He's one who takes what in us is of no value or of little value. Sometimes we go, right at the core of who I am, there's some parts of me that aren't very nice. Let him restore them. Let him go to work on them. I think sometimes we hide them from him, and we forget because he's a restorer. You see, if someone comes to visit and I've got this old piece of junk out in the backyard, I'll probably throw a tarp over it or hide it out behind the shed because I don't want them to see that messy old thing. But if the person coming into my house to come to visit is a restorer, someone who is skilled in and delights in and lives for restoring old jalopies, then what am I going to do? I'm going to say, come around back. You need to see this. Yeah? So you see, when I understand that God is a restorer, I invite him into those parts of my life that need restoration. I say, oh, God, I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you showed up, Holy Spirit. Because I know you're into restoring. You love restoring people. You love bringing new life to that which is old and decrepit and dead and nasty. Come here. Come on in and see this. Let me show you what I've got in here. This piece of junk in me that is not in the image of God, that is not glorifying to him. Would you have a go at that? And in those shows that we watched on television, we always loved the reveal. Someone would take an old 56 Chevy, broken down, rusted out, tires are flat, the interior has been rat infested and is chewed up and is a mess. And they take that thing and they strip it all down and they tear it all apart and they restore it and put it back together. And then there's the reveal where they bring the owner in and they say, okay, now open your eyes. Wow, that's my old piece of junk. Look what this restorer has done with it. Isn't that just like God? That stuff in our lives that isn't very pretty or beautiful or productive or useful or functional, we give it over to him and we say, Holy Spirit, go to work. And eventually when the reveal comes, it's like, that's me? Wow, what you have done. And then the glory goes to the restorer. As beautiful as that old 56 Chevy all redone up is sitting there in the shop, the honor goes to the people who restored it. You are a magician. You are fantastic. You are skilled. You are an artisan. You have outdone yourself on this. That's the praise and glory we give back to God, who is the restorer of who we are. So, a couple of things today. I would suggest one, invite Him, the restorer, to have a look at some of the old junk in your life. Just open it up, say, come around the back of the house, have a look at what's sitting out here that's just deteriorating and nasty. I give you permission, go ahead and do what you want with it. And then, secondly, give the restorer praise today for how he is renewing the inner being of who you and I are. Tell him he's an awesome restorer. He's an artisan. He's skilled. He's imaginative. He's creative. He is powerful. He is wise. He is glorious in what he does. And then just watch for that work that he's doing in our lives and in others. And you know, when we see him restoring something in somebody else, when we see them, let them know, I see God at work in you. Maybe that's something we can really think about today. You know, say, God, show me somebody that I can encourage, that I can affirm, and say, you know what, I just want to tell you today, send him an email, whatever. I want to tell you today, I see God at work in you, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I think I know that would be an encouragement to us as we see that. So, something that's good news, God is a restorer. He restores my soul, the very core of who I am, and you too. Let's think about that, and we'll talk again tomorrow.